Nvidia might have to change their plans if AMD gets too good. There might be new CPU competition in town, 480Hz monitors, and the PS5 is the fastest selling PlayStation ever invented. Let's get into the hot news, everybody. I'm your Brett host. We're going to be going over the hottest tech news that I can find on the internet while you enjoy your breakfast there at home, whether it's first breakfast, second breakfast, what have you. Hot news is the place for you to enjoy your food and the tech news. So let's get ahead and start talking about Nvidia and their upcoming next generation of GPUs. We talked about in yesterday's episode of Hot News that the RTX 4090 is rumored to be about twice as fast as the 3090, which you could take with as many pillars of salt as you want. Not necessarily something that I trust, but there's also some more indication that the next gen GPUs are going to be based on the Ada Lovelace architecture and be on TSMC's 5nm process. This is something that's not entirely unexpected. Some leakers out there saying that this is definitely confirmed. We are getting Ada Lovelace for gaming GPUs. The Hopper generation of GPUs are going to be cloud and data center focused and not actually for the typical gamer. However, there are other rumors indicating that if AMD's next generation GPUs, which is RDNA 3 Navi 31 GPUs with multi-chip modules, are better than Nvidia's expecting, they might go ahead and forego running with Lovelace and might end up transitioning Hopper to be a gaming graphics card. If RDNA 3 and Intel are better than Nvidia was accounting for, they might have to switch Lovelace to being something else. The indication that Lovelace might be for Nvidia's SoCs instead, so think more like portable consoles or their Shield and Shield TV setup rather than actually putting those out in gaming graphics cards. It's good news that Nvidia is working on two different architectures simultaneously. However, seeing that they might change their plans depending on what the competition is doing might not necessarily be something that's so abstract. That's one of the reasons why we found out that Nvidia ended up going with Samsung to make their current generation of cards, is because the competition gobbled up all of their production. When most of the tech media thought that Nvidia could no way switch off of TSMC because it would just not be a good idea, they ended up doing it because Apple and AMD took up all the fabrication facility that they otherwise could have had. So it's not the first time that outlandish things that seem unreasonable at the time actually have ended up purveying out for Nvidia. But what do you think? Would Nvidia change their plans if they find out that AMD's next gen cards are performing better than expected? Intel smacks the ball, home run out of nowhere sports metaphor, and makes it so that it's a winner take all battle royale mega slam truck derby. Would Nvidia change things then? That was bad. I'm so sorry. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. And I want to let you know that I'm thankful for your support, which is why today's episode of Hot News is brought to you by you. For everybody who supports us over on Floatplane. This is our pre-release exclusive access platform where we release all of our videos early and without ads. So if you're watching this on Floatplane right now, you actually won't see us talking about it being on Floatplane. We try to release all of our Hot News and UFD tech videos there early as much as we can for Hot News because we are on a strict time schedule with this, but you will always get it without our sponsor spots because you are sponsoring us directly. So we'll leave our Floatplane link in the video description. Just want to say thank you to everybody who's been supporting us over there. It's helped us with the transition from Florida to Pennsylvania. We literally would not have survived without our Floatplane supporters. Thank you to those of you who are, and welcome to everybody who might be signing up for Floatplane in the future. And you can sign me up for new CPUs. There's a new Chinese competitor in town, which obviously just wash your face in some sodium chloride, get that all in your pores because you gotta take it with salt, all right? But the Longsoon CPUs are being indicated that they are as fast as first generation Ryzen chips. They're not running x86, they are running their own instruction set, and they have their own in-house microarchitecture, but it's a quad-core CPU with two DDR4 3200 memory modules and other technology that gets it in range of early 6th generation Core Series Intel chips and first generation Ryzen chips, at least according to some benchmarks that they have out there. So while this is the quad-core version, Longsoon is also in development of a 16-core model that could potentially come out at some point within the next year, and we might have more competition all around. Obviously, this likely will not hit the shores of the US. This will probably stay in China, especially with it being its own instruction set, but more competition in the CPU market, even if it ends up half as fast fast is what they're saying. Just means that there's more fires on the oven for the stove, and the bad metaphors that I have around here. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore because the screen is moving too fast. I'm looking at a 480 hertz screen, don't you know? That's what's coming out with new gaming monitors being announced that can do 4K at 240 hertz, 1080p at 480 hertz, and they should be starting to release by the end of the year, according to LG Displays. AU Optronics is also getting into these refresh rates, 480 hertz at 1080p, 360 hertz at 1440p, and then again 240 hertz at 4K. These are going to be insanely fast, insanely expensive, and I really like 4K 240, sure, but we have nothing that can drive that unless you're trying to play Valorant or like CSGO or some sort of esports title. I could see that happening, which I guess this is what those are for, but man, that's gonna be pricey. Speaking of price, let's get into the Cryptostonks update. Bitcoin up 2.45% in the last 24 hours to be just slightly under that $40,000 mark. It was over 40,000 for much of the day, being at 39,868 as I'm recording hot news. Ethereum also up nearly 1% to be at 2293. Dogecoin also up nearly 1% to sit at around 20.5 cents. GameStop stuttering a little bit to be down 5.28% at 169.12 cents, and then AMC up 2.34% on the day to close at 38.90. These meme stonks not really moving. Crypto, however, being up quite significantly over the last week. And my hopes are up because WhatsApp is developing a switch from iOS to Android where you can take your backups with you. Finally, oh my gosh, this was a feature that it just made it so hard to switch phones when I was living in South Africa because all of my just backup information and texts and everything that I would WhatsApp to people was on one system and I couldn't port it over to the other because the backup was only on that one system. Well, now, thankfully, according to new reports that are coming out, WhatsApp should be allowing you to switch from iPhone to Android, not necessarily the reverse way around. That's because this is part of the switch to Android iOS app that's under development from Google. That'll make it easier to port your iOS stuff over to Android so that you won't lose hardly anything if you do decide to end up needing to switch systems. And you might want to switch to becoming a cyborg sometime soon because, oh boy, the robots are coming for us. A bipedal robot has now run a 5K. This is coming from Oregon State University, where they've developed a robot that can do a 5K in 53 minutes. So not necessarily the fastest 5K in the world. It can outrun a lot of people, but I can do about a 10K in 60 minutes, so it's not going to catch up to me just yet. But remember, this is the first iteration, so robots that can actually run long distances and crash into you are very much coming. It did have to be controlled by a human at this point. It wasn't actually autonomously running in. It fell twice during that run, once because its computer overheated, and the second one was because they tried to have it take a corner too quickly, and it just couldn't do that. And sometimes people's brains can't do everything that we expect of them, which is why I'm so excited for brain-computer interfaces, because it's going to allow people to control computers and devices with their brain. I'm just so excited for this type of technology. And the FDA has given an approval for a trial for a BCI to go ahead and be involved in human patients. Synchron is going to start an early feasibility study of their Stentrode implant with 6 patients at the Mount Sinai Hospital in New York. There's also a clinical trial of this going on in Australia at the moment, and it's for data transfer from the motor cortex to control digital devices. This is absolutely amazing, as I have a son who can't actually move his body even though his brain is trying to do it. If he could actually control something on a screen, that would give him so much more levels of freedom. I'm always excited to see this kind of technology. FDA approval for a trial. Sign us up! And a lot of people wanted to be signed up for the PS5. Fastest selling Sony console ever, 10 million units so far. This is up from the 7.8 million units that they reported back in April. This is under 1 year of sales. They're actually trying to sell more because there's still a stock shortage. Sony also revealing that Spider-Man Miles Morales has sold 6.5 million copies, Ratchet & Clank has sold 1.1 million copies in just the last month, and Returnal, which I absolutely love, has sold 560,000 copies since its April launch, which that's criminal. It's not for everybody. It's really obscure, and it's super grindy, but I loved Returnal so much. So if you haven't played it and you have a PS5, I highly recommend you check it out. And you contrast that 10 million sales unit of the PS5 to what is being reported for the Xbox Series consoles, and it appears that it's about 6.5 million as of June 30th, 2021. So around 50% more being sold on Sony's side. And it looks like the Steam Deck sold a lot more than I was anticipating. Well, actually, I have no idea how many units they had, but the delays that are happening for the Steam Deck are continuing to increase, with any pre-order going on right now for that console will be only available from a year from now, Q2 of 2022. So every single one will be shipping that far, and it might slip into 2023. So in case you didn't get in your reservation for the Steam Deck, you might want to consider it doing sooner rather than later. But if you want to pick up a new laptop, who knows if there's going to be a new one on the horizon. There's new rumors coming out that the RTX 30 Super Series refresh of laptop GPUs are going to be happening in January, but then there's also new rumors saying that AMD is going to update their GPUs sometime next year in a refresh, which I guess could happen, but they haven't even released them yet, so I don't know if that's true. Take that one with a huge grain of salt, especially considering the Omen 16 laptop, which is supposed to be like the preeminent Ryzen and Radeon laptop, is still saying coming soon. They're not on sale yet. How can you refresh something in just like 5 months that you don't even have on sale? I don't necessarily trust that one in case maybe they could do it exactly, 16, 18 months from now, and that still technically will fall in 2022. But AMD is actually saying that they're on track for their Zen 4 and RDNA 3 launches in 2022. AMD CEO Lisa Su, in all of her earnings calls that she was saying, are saying that they're on track with TSMC's 5nm production for Zen 4, RDNA 3. Those should be dropping sometime next year. It's not quite clear in what capacity. Zen 4 might be coming out in APUs first, has been the indication to some extent. RDNA 3 might come out in a laptop. Who knows? We'll find out. And I want to find out what you ate for breakfast, so let me know down below in the comments. And while you're doing that, you can check out our episode of Hot News yesterday, where we talked about the 7000 series and RTX 4090 and how they're going to be absolute beasts. And I'll see you for breakfast tomorrow, my friends, for Hot News. Cheers. All right, it's time to get into the hot news, everybody. Let's do it.